and I started really by just talking to people and I started a Slack channel before I started any official group,
Mm,
internally. Internal tools are amazing, and you can use them. We talked about some of this earlier, but,
yeah.
um, we started a, climate group, and we would post little, like, news items, and I had put together a document of, like, "Here's the most efficient way that you can do your activism," "Here's where meat slots in, here's where your flying slots in." Because that was my obsession, but the other people had pet interests like oceans and plastic, and there's so much
Mhm.
stuff out there to do, and, just getting people talking about it is critical. There's some statistic that on average, the average American talks about climate change something like once every 2 months or once every month.
Wow. Wow.
So that just getting that number up alone is critical, right? Like, people are just going to their desks and, maybe we can encourage people to take public transit or fly less, but, like, what could we even do, right? We have
Yeah.
recycling already. So
So
where's
how
that
did you
education
influence
piece?
that leadership?
Yeah, so step by step.
Mm,
The first thing I did, and I think it's an amazing tool if your company does it, is if you have all hands calls or large calls where there's any kind of AMA thing.
ask me
Just
anything.
asking ask me anything calls, which are, the classic for Facebook, some of these other companies, is just ask, like, what is your understanding of the climate impacts of your company's operations, right? Like, where
Mm,
are we? How do you where do you think we're starting?
mhm.
And that'll give you that's your starting place. That's what you're building off of. Don't think that people are out here just because you've read all of, the rest. And so that was how
Yep.
I learned how our leadership understood things. And I took on the task of trying to change that. And I started by, talking to people who had joined my Slack group, talking to coworkers who were interested in that. If anyone anywhere on Slack posted about climate or had even worked with clients that were somehow like climate related, I would talk
Uh-huh.
to them on Slack and reach out and say, "Hey, are you interested in this climate stuff? What's going on?" And if they were, I would say, "Hey, great. Do you mind maybe submitting a question along these lines at the next AMA?" Because if you're the one person who's asking about climate, people aren't gonna think that there's a general interest. So if
Mhm.
you can found allies, if you can
Yeah.
find other people at the company who are willing to work with you, and if you're willing to kinda do the work, right? Say, like, "This is what we need to know about from our leadership, and this is where we're going," you can continue to build upon that. And so we continue to use AMAs, we continue to grow our Slack group, which is also important to show where's that momentum.
Mhm.
And I had a lucky break, which for those who are familiar with the Slack add-on Donut, it's a tool that some companies use that will randomly assign you to uh, anyone in the company, and then you have a one-on-one with them, kind of a coffee meet Zoom
Yeah, just like a
thing,
meet and greet,
just a
a
meet and
random
greet.
matchup. Mhm.
You use the tools, use these things. People get annoyed, but use them.
Mhm.
And I guess this call is almost just an advertisement for Slack at this point, but